Yes, yes, yes. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back talking about the finale of Naked and Afraid. Finale of Naked and Afraid Apocalypse, man. Um, this is this is what we all been waiting for. When I first learned about this show, the Apocalypse, right? I was wondering because of what they had said, right? They said that there's not going to be any type of extraction. Like you're not going to get picked up by a jeep, you know what I mean, or a boat or anything like that, right? You have to find your way back to civilization. And so I'm wondering how are they going to end this? This is a brand new thing that they're doing. You know what I mean? You have to find your way back to civilization. And so I was like, that's interesting. I've been waiting this whole time on what I was going to see. When they because I and it was funny because I made a joke about it to my wife. I was like, you know what? Are they just gonna just walk up to a small town, right? With butt ass naked, and all these people are like, "The heck are they doing?" They're like stunned and seeing naked people walk out of the wilderness. They're like, what is going on here?" Right? You know what I mean? But but anyways, no, that's not what happened. But anyway, so I was wondering how they're gonna do this, and finally, I got to see what they meant by, yeah, this is the extraction point, finding your way back to civilization. You know what I mean? So, great show, great season of the first season of uh, Naked and Afraid Apocalypse, man. So anyway, we're about to get into it. I appreciate everybody joining us. Please hit the like button, subscribe, of course, if you're new to Rated R for reviews. Salute to Goat James in the chat. Appreciate you showing up, showing some love. Goat James, you know what I'm saying? AKA Chris, AKA Let Me Cook This. Right, quick. Appreciate you showing up, showing some love. I got you. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it, man. Uh, you know, this last episode here, um, it covered a lot. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they had a couple drama. Actually, it was just like one drama that happened, but it wasn't even huge, right? You know what I mean? And it didn't last that long either. Like at least for us watching, according to them, it lasted for days. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna get to that. But other than that, um, yeah, you would think after 35 days of being out there in South Africa, it's hot as hell. You're starving, right? I think this episode, I saw the degrees went up to 115 degrees. Like that's insane, right? So you're starving, you're hot, all this stuff is going on, and I was shocked, I was surprised, and I was happy to see that the morale was still high for them. Like nobody was really bickering at each other. You know what I mean? Like everybody was still cool with each other. I'm like, that's got to be kind of a first. Like, I mean, normally I've been watching Naked and Afraid for a while now, and all of them, the regular Naked and Afraids, the Naked and Afraid XL, the last one standing, all these Naked and Afraid, the Frozen one, right? Castaways. And normally you see people bickering at each other, especially after a certain amount of time. Now, we did see that when it comes down to Joe. If you remember, Joe and Kale, Kale's gone now, but Joe and Kale was bickering at each other in the beginning. And that was kind of shocking too, because I was like, damn, it's the first day you're already bickering at each other, right? So I thought it was going to be a long, a long 35 days for them. But Kale ended up leaving, of course, and then tapping out. I think she got medically tapped out or whatever. So, but anyways, but yeah, after 35 days of being in that hellhole, I thought there would be a lot more bickering amongst the group, especially when they all came together last episode. But they didn't, And so shout out to all of them for that. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna try to go one by one to give them props because this surviving something like that for 35 days, man. I mean, you deserve a lot of props. So, but I'm gonna go at the end. I'll go by individually, and I'll give them props individually. So, anyway, let's start off. The show starts off with them. I'm gonna skip the night part. The night part wasn't really all that. They were sleeping that night, and then they just kept hearing a lot of noises of animals, elephants and hyenas and things like that in the night. Whatever, right? Anyway, the next morning. Okay, they go next morning. They go to they start they want to start journey. They're wandering around to see what else they can scrap up, right? So they go around and they go back. I think Wes and Steve end up telling them that they had found a on the way there. They found like a kind of like a house, a couple houses actually, that was run down, broken down, burnt up, whatever. And it has like some spiritual stuff inside of it, right? So they wanted to go explore it, right? The other group was like, oh, I want to see, right? So they go back and they go exploring the house, right, and see what else that they can scrap up. And so they get back there, and they end up finding this like metal, like a metal net type of thing, right? It's like it was like a big barbed metal type of scrap, right? It was huge, really, really long. I mean, I'm talking about at least like I want to say like at least like what, like 30 yards long of this, or about 20 yards long of this metal scraped, netting, right? And they were like, well, this is pretty cool. We could probably use this to go fishing, right? So then they go back, they roll it up, man. You know what I'm saying? They take it back to their campsite. And of course, now because it's all, jacked up, they got holes everywhere up all up in it, right? But they were like, you know what? Hey, we still gonna use this. You never know. You know what I mean? So they roll it all, they roll it out. They roll it out. It's like it takes all of them because they wanted to cover the whole pond that they were next to. They wanted to cover the whole pond that they were to gather all the fish that they can gather, right? It's kind of say smart, And so they do that and they roll it out. It takes all of them. Now again, there's eight, right? There's eight of them, right? It took all eight of them to spread out across this pond with this metal netting that they have, right? And then they push it down in the mud. They're all talking amongst each other, trying to figure this out. They're all pushing. They're pushing it. They're pushing it. They're pushing. They're pushing, and they're pushing. As they're pushing, you can see the fish, right? The catfish popping up, right? They're popping up out of the water. Some of them were jumping over the netting, right? And then some of them was swimming through the holes. They had to patch up those holes, man. So anyway, they're pushing it, man. And eventually they got it down to a confined space, right? And when they did that, they seen all these catfish popping up, blah blah blah. And so and at first they were trying to catch them with their hands, but bro, it's you're in muddy waters. Like it's very, very, and of course it's fish, right? It's very, very difficult to grab a fish like that, right? So for me, I was like, why are they trying to grab a fish and then carry it to land? I'm like this, bro. Just as soon as you grab it, just throw it. Throw it to the land, right? You know what I mean? And so eventually that's what they started doing. And so they as soon as they grabbed it, they scooped it up and they just tossed it to the land. They just tossed it away. Thank you, And they end up catching like eight fish. Now again, there's eight of them. They caught eight fish, so that's a fish per person. That's a good day right there for them. But bro, a lot of them haven't eaten in so long. Great day for them. They caught eight catfish, man, and the catfish were big. I mean, bro, you're looking at, I mean, like this big of a catfish. I mean, bro, it was like huge. These catfishes were huge, and so big win for them. Of course, that later after that, they cut them open, you know what I'm saying? Put them on the grill, man, on the fire, you know what I mean? Start cooking them. That night, the illy willy bellies, okay, was very, very nice and full, right? Now, they didn't cook all of them. They cooked some of them and they left some of them out to smoke, right? The next day, okay, next day comes up and I think Steve, yeah, Steve wanted to go out hunting. Joe wanted to go out hunting. And my thing is this. When I had saw that Joe and Steven were going to go out hunting, I was like, if it were me, hey, look at here, man. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not about to. Frank is the hunter. Okay, Frank and Teal are the hunters. So if it were me, I'm like, hey, look at here, man. Look, hey, Frank, man, go out hunting, bro. You've killed what he has like 4 kills in this season. Obviously he's good with that bow and arrow, right? Teal's another one. She's good with that bow and arrow. I mean, like, hey, go hunting, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because look, I get it. Like Joe had said when he was out there for hours trying to hunt, right? He was like, man, it'll be great. He's sitting there with his bow and arrow. He's got his covering, man. He's behind this boma, and he's like, man, it'll be great if I can bring back some food for my group. You know what I mean? And he wanted to be the one to do that, right? He wanted to be the one to make the kill and bring food back for his group. Hey, look, I get it. You know what I'm saying? That would be great. But at the end of the day, what is it all about? It's all about putting food in the belly, right? Well, look here, bro. You were by yourself for a long freaking time, and you only caught like one turtle and one catfish, and all of a sudden, Waz and Teal gets up to your campsite, and they caught like three turtles in a matter of an hour. You caught one turtle and one freaking catfish in a matter of like 2 3 weeks, right? Like, come on, bro. Like, no, you you I you gotta send your best people out there because at the end of the day, you gotta put the food in the belly. Okay, so if they got some kills over there, then damn it, hey, you go get some kills, man. I'm not. I'm. You're better than me. I get it. I got pride, but damn it, you better than me, bro. So I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna go ahead, chill right here, let you go out hunting. I'll go catch some more fish or something. You know what I'm saying? But for the big game, for the meat, hey, go ahead. You go out there and go get your kills, man. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to eat. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Just saying. So anyway, Steven and Joe are out there trying to hunt. Obviously, they don't see anything that that they didn't kill anything. So then they come back, whatever. And then I'm trying to remember everything, right, that I saw, and I'm trying to remember everything, right. Anyways, so later on in the day, um, Teal is in the cage, and she starts to smell something funny with the smoked catfish that they had smoked up, and she was like, "That don't smell right." And then so Frank comes over there, and Frank starts smelling it, and he automatically knew, oh yeah, no, that's rotten. That's not good. So they had to throw away, I think like two or three catfish that they had smoked up. That's terrible. Yeah, not good, man. For that's one thing about from all the Naked and Afraids that I have seen. One thing is that they will something will happen to where it's all fun, all glory, right? All smiles. And then right after that, something else will happen to bring your whole morale down, right? And it just your emotions just goes like this, like it's like a graph. Something good happens, something bad happens, something good happens, something bad happens. It just goes like throughout the whole freaking episode or season. That's just how it goes, man. You know what I mean? And so I it sucks. It sucks, but that's what happened, right? But to have the mentalness of saying, you know what, I don't care if something bad happens. You got to focus on the good, right? And you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And shout out to all of these contestants, bro. Shout out to all eight of them. I mean, the mentalness that I saw in them. I mean, the mental toughness, bro. Like that's pretty good, man. You know what I mean? To have that mental toughness of just keep thriving, keep going. You know what I mean? When you're drained and stuff like that. And I gotta give a shout out to Teal. I wanted to put Teal on the thumbnail, but I already used her once on the last live stream, right? And I don't think I used Frank yet, so this is why I use Frank because Frank, I ain't gonna lie to you. Now that the season is over, I can honestly say that Frank was my favorite character on this show. Okay, on this season, all right. But I have to give a shout out to Teal because Teal was not feeling herself. She was feeling really, really tired, really, really exhausted, and if anyone knows anything about exhaustion, right, you're not going to be yourself. You're going to have this extra attitude, right? This extra, just stay away from me right now. I'm just tired. You know what I mean? I just went through this. Not gonna lie to you. I just went. I was feeling like there was just a lot to do. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, man, I got this to do. I got that to do. I got this. Right after this, I got that. Right after, and it's just every single day. I'm like, I'm just tired. And I was just exhausted. I was just, and I was being extra snippy. You know what I'm saying? Like they used in the show. I was being extra snippy to my family. You know, and and I didn't mean to. It was just that I was just tired. It was just a lot on my plate, man. I was just like, it's just so much. And people get like that. You know what I mean? It happens. You just you just you life is life keeps going, but you gotta learn how to just settle down and just be like, you know what? Let me take one thing at a time, right? And that's something that my wife told me. My wife realized it too. She was just like, I get it. You're just tired right now. And she understood. She understood that, hey, this is how it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't snap back. And a lot of time I was snapping at her for little things. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't want to talk. Just I'm tired. You know what I mean? you know, I'm just tired. You know what I mean? It's especially for me. I only get like 3 hours of sleep a day almost most nights. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get 3 hours of sleep a day, and I'm just work. I'm just tired. You know what I mean? All the stuff you got to do. It's just around the house, and then your kids got to do this. Your kids got practice over here. They got this, and they got games, and they got this, and then you got to do your channel, then you got to do that, and you got to work on these videos. It's just everything and then of course you got to clean the house, right? House duties, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just everything. I just got to a point, and I've never really felt like this before, but I just got to a point to where I was just exhausted. I was just, man, I'm tired. You know what I mean? And so my wife understood, and she said, "Don't worry about it," because she kind of went through that as well. She says, "You know what? I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You're tired. You're exhausted. Don't worry about it. Just take one thing at a time. Eventually, it's gonna go away, right?" And now I feel okay now. I'm not tripping no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel good now. You know what I'm saying? But for that time, I mean, I think that lasted for like I don't even know how long it lasted for. A week, 2 weeks. I was just feeling like just tired. You know what I mean? And so it's good to have that partner to realize what you're going through, because if a person does not know what you're going through and all they hear or all they get back is just attitude, 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 right? That person can get attitude back because they just feel like, hey, look at here, man, I'm not doing anything to you. Why you coming at me like that? Hey, F you, right? You know what I mean? But for a person to understand, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for that person to understand where you're coming from and not snap back at you, right? And that's why I referenced my wife in this case, but got to give a shout out to Teal, right, for realizing that she was doing this, and she apologized to the group, right? But I got to give an extra shout out to Waz, because he was the one that said, you know what? Because remember, they had a group meeting. It was all of them. All of them had a group except Teal. Teal was by herself. She was going out hunting, man, and she came back and she didn't want to drink no water. Like after being out there in 115-degree heat, right? You're sitting there for hours and you're trying to hunt and you get nothing, and then you come back, you don't want no water. You should be drinking water constantly, right? And she wasn't drinking anything. She was being very, very short with people, one word answers, man. She did. And so they had a group meeting, and Waz was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll talk to her." Right. And so shout out to Waz, man. Waz went over there back at the cage and he talked to her. He was like, you know what? And very, very calmly, you know what I mean? He didn't give her no attitude, because you gotta be, when people are like that, you gotta be very, very careful, because they'll snap like that. Okay. They'll snap like that, man. So Waz was being very, very careful on what he says, and he was like, you know what, Teal, look, we're very, very concerned about you. You know what I mean? You're kind of short with us. You're not yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're normally like a chippy person. You know what I mean? And you're just real, real short. You're not. And the main concern is you're not drinking any water. Being out here in South Africa in this heat, you should be drinking water constantly, right? And so you're not drinking any water. And of course, she was just like, "Yeah, I'm drinking water. What are you talking about? Whatever." And but while I talked to her, and Teal was unaware of how she was acting. And so she was like, "Wait, people think I'm being snappy at them?" And she apologized. She was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was doing that, but okay, I'll apologize." And so she went back to the group, um, and she apologized to the whole group. And Steven spoke up, and Steven was like, "Look, that's just one thing. We were just concerned about you. That's all. Just concerned. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we were talking about you behind your back, saying, "Oh, she's this, she's that, she's being a B or whatever." It wasn't a attitude type of group discussion. It was an actual concerned type of group discussion, to where they wanted Teal to finish the challenge with them, and because of the way she was acting, and because of the way she was, it was kind of like, well, Teal, man, you know you may not finish the challenge. You only got a few more days left. You may not finish the challenge because of the way you're acting. You're not drinking any water. So you may not even finish the challenge. And that was the bigger concern for them. And again, shout out to the whole group. Shout out to Waz for talking to her. Shout out to Alexa. Okay. Alexa, Tia was giving Alexa attitude. And Alexa just said, okay, she just bagged back. You got it. Don't worry about it. Even even after and then Teal even told her, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's just don't talk to me, right? And Alexa was like, okay, you know, like I've watched plenty of Naked and Afraids. Okay, normally somebody like that, oh, you're gonna get some fighting. Normally, normally you're gonna get some fighting, and for Alexa to just be like, okay, no problem. And then the very next day, Alexa was cool. Alexa was like, "Hey, my love, how you doing?" Blah blah. I'm like, "Oh, this is different. I'm not used to seeing that. I'm used to and for the people who watch Naked and Afraid often, you know the people that I'm talking about when I say that there are some people on Naked and Afraid that wouldn't take that. They were like, "Oh, hold on, I don't give a damn if you're going through exhaustion and you got all this emotion. You can't be giving me attitude. I'm about to give you attitude back, right? Normally, that's how it goes for some people that we've seen on Naked and Afraid. I'm not gonna name any names, right? But for Alexa, Waz, Steven, uh, I was eh, uh, I was shocked at Joe. I thought Joe, because she gave attitude to Joe. I thought for sure Joe was gonna give her attitude back, but he didn't. I was shocked. Okay, I was shocked, but he didn't. And so again, shout out to all of them for actually realizing what was going on with Till, and again, shout out to Waz for actually knowing the words of what to say to Till for her to snap out of it and not get attitude back. Because again, when someone is like that, again, like they said, you're walking on eggshells with them, right? So you got to be careful on what you say because they can snap at you on anything, any little thing. So you got to know what to say in that moment. And Waz knew what to say in that moment. So I got to give a big shout out to Waz for that. You know what I mean? And again, shout out to Teal because she could have took that a different way. She could have been like, you know what? I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. I don't see it. So F all y'all. But to actually take a look at herself and actually say, you know what? Maybe I am. If they all see it, maybe I am. And she apologized for it. That's the best. That takes a big person to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Teal for that, man. Um, so anyway, after that went down, Teal was cool after that. After that talking to, I think Teal was she was fine after that. I think there was a there was a time I think near the end of the show, her and Alexa was in the cage and she was teaching Alexa how to make a water filter. And this is why I like the show because it teaches you things. The knowledge that they bring to this to the show is incredible. She actually made a water filter out of like what sand, well, rocks, charcoal, right? A metal piece with a she punched holes in it, and she made a water filter. I was like, whew, wow, that's incredible, man. You know what I mean? And so, hey, man, shout out to these people, man. I tell you, these people, man, a lot of them bring a lot. And even Alexa, she said the same thing. She was like, Teal brings a lot of knowledge to this show because she did. Alexa's learning as well. I will say this. You know what? I'll save it. I'll save it because I want to give a shout out to all the contestants at the end, right? So I'm gonna save because Alexa, man, she impressed me a lot too, you know, and she was getting a lot of hate on Facebook, right? But I, I gotta give her credit, man. I gotta give her credit. So anyway, but I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it to the end. So anyway, after that, Steven, I'm not Steven, Frank, and I think it was Frank and Teal. They went out to go hunting, right? And so, because it's they got a couple days before extraction, right? And they're just not getting any food, right? So now they send the big hunters out there, right? Frank and Teal, the big hunters, right? They go out there, they try to go hunt, and nothing. They couldn't find anything. Nothing really even showed up. You know what I'm saying? I think for Frank, there was a little dove that showed up for him. He took the shot, you know what I mean, and nothing, you know. You know, I don't know. It took him, and this is my opinion, but it took them a couple days of hunting for meat and not gathering fish when the fish was the thing that was successful. I get it. You want some meat. You know what I mean? I get it. But if you're not getting any meat, you got to eat something. And so for me, I would have been like, you know what? We just gonna gather fish every single day and just fill up on fish. You feel me? And so anyway, hunting, it didn't work. And so they was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get some more fish. Now here's the thing, because of their metal netting that they had holes in there, things like that, right? You know what I'm saying? They decided to patch up all those holes that was in the metal netting, right? And so that's what they did. And they did it again, and this time it was a lot more successful. They patched up all the holes, and now the fish couldn't swim through the holes around them, right? So, and a few of them was jumping over, but they were trying. Excuse me, they were trying to jump over, but it didn't happen, right? And so that was it. And so they jumped over, they tried to jump over and things like that, and it wasn't working. And so now they gathered the netting, the metal netting, they pushed all the way to the base of the pond, right? So all these freaking fish are just flopping around, right? And Frank is up there, he's like getting them, he's pushing them out, and, and so shout out to them. Hey, shout out to them, man. You know what I mean? That to think that just the knowledge of having that, man, is great, bro. You know what I mean? And so anyway, um, so that was that. And so they gathered some more fish. They cut them up, put them on the grill, man, ate them up. Hey, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Had a nice little meal in your bellies at night. You know what I mean? Shout out to them. So it's getting close to extraction. You know, and they were like, you know what? It's about that time. I when I was watching the show, I was hoping they would have like an overcast. You know what I'm saying, on extraction day. But yeah, no, it was hot as hell. You know what I mean? So they showed the map, and on the map they showed their location, and they showed where they had to travel to civilization, right? And so this is the part I've been waiting for since the beginning of this damn freaking season, because I wanted to know what does extraction look like. You got 8 people, right? Are they just going to be a whole bunch of but again, they said back to civilization. They didn't say you get picked up. You're not getting picked up. So what does that mean, back to civilization? I've been waiting for this for since the beginning of the season, right? So they showed the location on the map. They showed their location. They showed where they had to travel. They had to travel through all these terrains, all these mountains. They had to travel over the mountaintop. Okay, okay, and then through the freaking all these thorns and sticks, bro, blah blah, all there. And it's freaking 115 degrees out there, bro. It's hot. That's one thing too. When it's when it's hot like that, 115 degrees, the best if you're gonna be outside, the best way to be out there is naked, right? But man, you're still hot. Like you still, that's one thing, bro. When it's really, really hot like that, there's like nothing you can do. You know what I mean? To just to try to stay cool, man. You know what I mean? And then the water that you're drinking, bro, it's not like you're drinking, ice cold water, right? No, no, no. You're drinking hot boiled water, right? that's not that's not helping you, bro. You know what I mean? It's not cooling off the body at all. You know what I mean? So yeah, crazy work, man. But anyway, so on extraction day, they gathered most of their things that they wanted to take with them in, and they brought a lot of water, a lot, man. So and so anyway, they took off. They started to hike. I'm trying to remember everything. I think I remember everything. Um, trying to remember everything. I think that's it. I'm flowing through this pretty quickly here, so I probably missed some things. But anyway, so they're going through. They're hiking. They're on their hike way back to civilization. And it's a long hike. You talking about 8 miles? I'm sorry. I think it was 8.5. I believe it was 8.5. 8.5 miles. Okay, of just walking barefooted through this terrain. Insane. It just insane, man. I don't know how they did it, bro. I really don't. I mean, I was like, bro, how do you walk barefooted in 115-degree heat in just South Africa dirt, thorns everywhere, fire ants just biting you, man. You're around all these damn lions and hyenas and what the hell, hippos, rhinoceros, elephants, right? You walking around. I'm sorry, there was a leopard. Right? You walking around all this stuff, man. You just hiking, man. You know what I mean? And it's just hot as hell, bro. You're carrying you got your pack on. You know what I'm saying? Ah, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. The mental toughness that you gotta have, right? Because I think Teal on the hike, Teal was just like, I can't do this no more. Yeah, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie to you though. I mean, I know what they're going through, but because I was in the military, right? I was in the Marine Corps, and so I kind of know what they're going through when it comes down to hiking, right, in the heat with a pack on, right? But again, for me, I mean, I did that. eh, I did it, but I didn't do it for, oh, I only ate, fish for the past 3, 4 weeks. Like what? For the past 4 weeks, that's all I ate was fish and a turtle. Like like no, no, my belly was pretty full, okay, because I ate a lot, right? And then my water that I had on the hike, okay, even though it was hot as hell, right? The water I had was nice and cool, right? You know what I mean? I have my water source, right? My water source going over. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, right? You have a camelback. It's called a camelback, right? The camelback that you have, right? It's on your back, okay. You have it has like a water string, water whatever, it goes over your shoulder, right? And you can hook it on to your metal flak, your metal pretty much it's like a bulletproof vest, right? Your vest that you have, you hook it on there, and then it like hangs like this, right? And then all you gotta do is just pull it up, put it into your mouth. You start, and it's nice and cold. You can put ice in the camelback, right? Nice cool water, right? I no, that's what I had, right? I didn't have boiling water to drink on this hike to make me more hot. Okay, like bro, imagine if you're out there, it's 115 degrees, right? You're hot as hell, right? And again, I have boots. Okay, I have military boots on, right? So, but you're going on this hike with this pack, barefooted. Okay, you haven't eaten anything in the past 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And the water that you can drink is hot. Like it's like you're drinking. Picture you're drinking like hot cocoa, like like hot cocoa on a hike, and it's hot as hell. Like who the hell is going to drink hot cocoa in the summertime? Nobody's doing that, bro. You know what I mean? You want something cool for your body, but this is what they had to do. So anyway, so they're traveling, they're going there, and now here's the thing. Again, I've been wondering what this looks like at the end because I've been waiting for this for a long time. What does this look like? Because out of all the naked and afraids, there's always been a distraction. There's always been somebody to pick them up in a van, a car, a boat, a plane, whatever it is, right? This time, they're not getting picked up in nothing, right? Look, you say 4 weeks is insane. That's what I'm saying. 4 weeks, bro. They ain't ate. They ate, bro. They had in the past 4 weeks has been fish and a turtle. That's it. That's it. I think one time there was Frank. Frank hit like they had some meat, right? I think Teal was all of them actually had some meat, but it was like, bro, that was like 3 weeks ago. Ain't nobody that was like on day what? Day 11. This is day 35. That was 3 weeks ago that they had some meat. Okay. They ever since then, it's just been water, fish, that's it. Or some turtles. That's it. Yeah, they had nothing else. So insane, bro. So anyway, they had a turtle. They had a turtle, bro. So anyway, um, I've been wondering what this attraction looks like, right? So they're traveling, they're hiking, they're doing their thing, right? They're going over the freaking mountain, whatever, right? And then they come down, bro, whatever. It's like a hill, not a mountain, like a hill. They come down over the hill and they're walking, and then of course they stop, they take a little break, you know what I'm saying? They rest their legs a little bit, and then they get back walking again, right? And as they're walking, Teal is like, she just looks done. She's just like, she looks like a freaking zombie, right? She just, so she's going though. She's going. She's still walking though, right? I think she was like, she must have been like a zone or something, bro. It's like she was done. Anyway, they're walking, and as they're walking, they start to hear noises of people singing and clapping. They can't see them. They just hear it, right? And so and so I think it was Steven. Steven was the one in the front, and he was like, he looked back and he's like, "Hey, you guys hear that?" And then so they were like, "Yeah, I do hear it." And so they kept walking, and eventually it opened up. It opened up to like people, actual people, Africans doing like their little song and dance. You know what I'm saying? And bro. It looked like it looked, bro. To them, it looked like heaven, right? After being in that freaking Armageddon hellhole, right? But it looked like it was, bro. It was nice. They had nice benches with white cloths over them, food everywhere, cooked nice chicken. You know what I'm saying? Had some corn. You know what I mean? They had everything, bro. Ice cream. They had everything all laid out for them, bro. And it was just people that's nice. They were dancing, bro. You know what I mean? The people was, bro. They had a nice pool that was there, bro. The pool was crystal blue waters, okay, crystal blue, okay, nice and cool, right? You know what I mean? And so they got there, man. As they was going, Teal started crying. Teal was like, "Oh hell no!" Hey, shout out to Teal, man. Teal was pushing through, man. She saw that and she just started crying, man. You know what I mean? And so anyway, it was they that's so that was their extraction was you just make it back to civilization, but the civilization is just like, and, I think it was just barbecue everywhere, man. Ribs, meat, man. Chicken, all that stuff, and you just make it back to like a pretty much like a barbecue at a park. That's pretty much what it looked like. Nice. Uh, Pure green grass, right? Blue waters everywhere. Nice little picnic. You know what I mean? It was just perfect, man. They had everything there, bro. You know what I mean? And so they put their stuff down, man, and they just start eating right away. They did no manners at all. They just like, I don't give a damn. Just give it to me. They just started shoving everything in their mouth. It was like, I don't give a damn about nothing right now. Just give it everything. But they had a great time, man. You know what I mean? And they hugged and everything like that, man. And then at the campsite, at that little campsite, they had freaking like kind of like, I want to say like, I don't want to say not bunkers, but they had like little houses, little cabin houses, right, for each of them. You know what I mean? So where they can shower. Because remember, these fools ain't showered in like 4 weeks, over 4 weeks, right? They ain't brushed their teeth in over 4 weeks. These fools ain't did nothing in over 4 weeks. You know what I mean? So they stink. Just saying. And so yeah, they had their shower, man. They could put on their clothes. They had some clothing for them. You know what I mean? All that sort of stuff, right? It was great, man. You know what I mean? They had a great time. They jumped in the pool first, of course. They jumped in that nice, cool pool. You know what I mean? And it was great, bro. It was a great sighting. The shout out to the. I gotta get. This is where I give the shout out to the editing team, okay? Because they're now the editing team as they were as they everybody was smiling and joking and laughing and hugging and having fun, right? The editing team made sure they put the camera in slow motion so it could be like, oh, it looked like a movie, right? You know what I'm saying? You did, oh, you know, you know what I'm saying? It put like a movie, you know what I mean? And that's the editing team I'm talking about right there. You know what I'm saying? All this other stuff that they do, the editing, bro. I'm like, man, it's not good, bro. I kind of, I have if anybody doesn't know, I have a movie channel, right, where I do editing videos on for like fan made movie trailers, right? And so I'm learning a lot when it comes down to making, or I'm sorry, editing. videos and things like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. My and if you read the description, my dream job is to work for any type of movie company to where I can make movie trailers for that company or anything like that, right? That's pretty much my dream job when I want to what I would love to do. You know what I mean? Um, and so when I seen that editing at the end, I was like, okay, bravo. Okay, bravo. That was good editing, man. I got to give him credit for that. I don't give the editing team credit a lot, but most of the time they be messing up. But but that one was really really good. Okay, so I got to give him credit for that. Now I got to go back or not back, but I gotta say something good about every single person because every single person that made it through this challenge deserves a lot of credit, man. Because and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. For example, I want to start off with Alexa. Okay, Alexa was getting a lot of heat on Facebook. Pretty much saying that why is she there? She don't contribute. She hasn't done anything. All this other stuff, right? And for me, I think because here's the thing, you a person may not have a lot of knowledge when it comes down to this type of situations, right? But you just being there could help out the group a lot. And I think with Alexa, she just was like she just her whole attitude of of being out there. It was just great. Like she brought the morale up of the group. She was the one that was anything you wanted her to do. She was there. She didn't complain. She didn't. I mean, I don't. I think she complained, and not to the group. She complained in with herself. When she was doing when she was talking to the camera, she held the camera up to herself and she was talking to herself. And she only complained about when it rained that one time, and that was it. That was it. It did rain again this episode. It did rain again, and they built like some shelter or something like that or whatever. But anyway, but that was the only time she complained. And so the morale of her being there, the morale was just it kept the group high. You know what I mean? And that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and again, even when Teal in this episode, Teal was giving her attitude, she could have easily went off on Teal and was like, "Oh, excuse me, B, what the hell wrong with you? I didn't do nothing to you. Why you coming at me like that?" Right? She could have. I've seen a lot of Naked and Afraid episodes, and there's some people that I know that would have snapped back at Teal for that, but Alexa didn't. So I got to give her credit for that, man. And so anyway, I just think that Alexa, she just. By the way, Alexa looked unhealthy skinny. Okay, she was like skin and bones. Her and Wes, both of those, they were like skin and bones. And they showed how much weight that they lost over these 4 weeks, over these 35 days. Man, they lost a lot of weight, man. So, but still, Alexa was like, bro, you can see her ribs, like, I mean, her collarbone, like she had no fat on her at all. Like Alexa looked really really skinny, man. Um, and Wes was he looked so skinny that his head looked big, like that, because his body was just like skin and bones, and his head was just like I was just like, damn, bro, your head look extra big right now because because you're so skinny, right? So anyway, I gotta give her credit for Alexa for that, right? That's what I give her credit for, right? Steven, I gotta give credit for Steven. Steven was the only one that finished with his group still intact. That takes great leadership. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we had tap outs. We had medical tap outs and we had regular tap outs where just like I just don't want to. I'm out. That's it. And everybody, I think every group had at least one tap out except for Steven. So that's good leadership right there. You know what I mean? Gotta give him credit. Gotta give credit to Frank, right? Frank, Frank was my favorite character, and I think the reason being is because not only did he provide for his group, but also his attitude was great. Great attitude, man. I mean, I don't think he complained not one time. Not one time. I don't, bro. He was just everything. He worked. He got his job done. He fed his group. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and he just, bro. I gotta give Frank was my favorite. And and Frank Frank looked like that cool guy. You just want to go chill and have a beer with. You know what I mean? He's like, hey man, you know what? Let's go have a beer, man. And you can talk to him for hours. You know what I mean? Like he's just one of the he's you can tell he's one of those type of guys. You know what I mean? You ain't got to worry about you know him being him getting into anything. Like he's cool, man. He seems like one of those cool mellow fellows. You know what I mean? So I like Frank a lot, man. So shout out to Frank, bro. Who else? Who else? Waz. Gotta give it credit to Waz, man. Waz, and again, I'm going through the list here because I think everybody deserves credit here, right? So I'm doing it. I'm doing it one by one. Waz is another one. Great leadership for Waz, man. In order to see, here's the thing, and again, I have to give him credit for what he did to Teal. That was huge. That was huge, man. What Waz, the talking to that Waz gave Teal was perfect. You couldn't you couldn't write a script more perfect than that. Because again, like I told you guys, when a person is dealing with that, you have to be careful in what you say. You have to say the perfect right things for that person to understand what you're talking about. Okay? And Waz did that. Gotta give him credit for that. But even that, before all this, just the leadership of and knowledge that he was bringing to this challenge. I mean, bro, and again, thinking outside the box, right? The netting that he had to in order the knowledge to know that some catfish, if you're not getting any catfish from the netting, just the knowledge to know that some catfish are going to hide in the mud. So you have to put your hand and start digging in the mud underneath the waters, digging in the mud to get those catfish out of there. That's knowledge. You got to know those things, right? Again, thinking outside the box, bringing over a freaking toilet that he saw in one of the burnt down houses. He brought over a toilet and like, hey, look, there's a toilet. Shout out to Waz, man. You know what I mean? Thinking, building a smoker. He built a smoker out of scraps, thinking outside the box. You know what I'm saying? So Waz did so many things, bro. The netting, of course, again to go catch the turtles when they teamed up with Joe. I mean, Waz did so many leadership things and brought so much knowledge. I think Waz was the only one that brought. I think he brought the most knowledge to this challenge out of everybody. Waz, and again, Mr. 10.0 for a reason, right? Waz was I think the most the one that brought the most knowledge to this challenge, man. So shout out to Waz, man. Waz was throughout this whole season, Waz was using and coming up with things that I wouldn't even think of and things I didn't even know. So I gotta give credit to Waz, man. Teal. Gotta give credit to Teal. Teal, you know, in this episode, Teal was the one who took responsibilities for her actions and said, okay, yeah, I'm dealing with some crap right now. And so I'm going to look at myself and apologize to the group. That takes courage to do something like that. You know what I mean? So I got to give her credit for that. Also, earlier in the season, you're looking at you're looking at when she had to go kill one of those baby antelopes, and she didn't want to do that. It's something about killing an actual living thing versus the thing already dead and we're just going to eat it. But you actually have to kill it. That's something for her. It was something different to where it was just like, oh, this is worse. Like you know what I mean? And so, but to do it anyway because you have to survive. Hey, hey, he brought a toilet, man. Shout out to Waz, man. But yeah, so something like that, man. She had to go through, and then, she did it. You know what I mean? And again, also her mental toughness, because there was a few times where she wanted to quit, and she didn't. You know what I mean? So again, mental toughness right there, bro. You know what I mean? Shout out to Teal for that, man. Shout out to Joe. I gotta give a shout out to Joe. Joe survived what 20 days, I think 2019, something like that. 18 days by himself. By himself. You know how hard it is? It's already hard enough to be out there in 110 degrees, hot, right? It's hot as hell. You got wild animals running around you, lions, freaking elephants, hyenas, hippos, right? Now, you got all this stuff, all these animals, and it's hot, and you're out there by yourself, and that's bro, you're out there by himself, and he didn't quit. Bro. If anybody in that situation would have quit, it would have been understandable. But for him to have the mental toughness to say, "No, I'm not quitting," hey, that's I gotta give him credit for that. That's really good, man. That's really good. So that's him. Um, Wes, Wes, this was his third time in South Africa, and he conquered it. Okay, he finally conquered it. The last two times he went, I think he quit one time, and then another time he got medically tapped out because I think he got bit by something or whatever. So they had to medically tap him, and then the last time he quit. But this time he didn't quit, and he survived it all the way through. Gotta give him credit, man. Gotta give Wes credit. I think the last one is Steve. Steve, I gotta give credit to Steve mainly because I would give credit to Steve mainly just because he just survived South Africa when he is that bro. He's not. He's from Scotland. Okay, Scotland, where every single day is overcast, right? It rains a lot over there. It's overcast every single day, bro. They hardly ever see their sun. And for him to go out there in South Africa, where the sun is all the time, it's hot as hell, right? I mean, bro, that's a life changing event just from that. You know what I mean? So shout out to him just for that. This is just for surviving that. You know what I mean? But other than that, still, he brought his knowledge to the game, and he worked a lot. He was a workhorse. You know, and he when it comes down to him trying to catch some food, maybe not the best, but as far as him gathering materials and things like that, bro, you know what I mean, and building things and stuff like that, he was a workhorse. So gotta give him a shout out for that, man. So anyway, all these, I think I hit everybody. So all these contestants, man, I gotta give them a shout out for, man. And I wanted to do that individually, you know what I mean, because that's tough. That's tough to be in that type of environment like that and to survive. You know what I mean? So shout out to all of them for that, man. Um, I overall what my reaction overall to this first season of Naked and Afraid Apocalypse, I I liked it. I think I liked it, but I think we'll see. But I think they should do a more of a town type of setting next time for season two. Again, I don't know how they're going to do that. That's going to be very, very difficult unless you build it, right? I mean, you would have to build something like that. You know what I mean? Um, and then not only do you have to build it, but you got to build it and then let it sit for some time. So, it, so like things can like because you're gonna need grass to grow up in the buildings, right? You're gonna need, eventually, if you let it sit over time, animals are going to start to come in there, lions and hyenas or whatever it is going to start to come in there, right? Eventually, you know what I mean? So I think you're going to have it's going to be some time for, but I think they should do something like that, like it doesn't have to be a big town, but like something small, you know what I mean? So I don't know, and again, I'm not saying build like actual houses, but I'm saying like, because again, when I think of apocalyptic setting, I'm thinking of movies, you know what I mean? And so I think like The Last of Us, you know, like you in that type of setting, right? You know what I mean? Like something where it's just like, oh, we're traveling, and then all of a sudden we come up to this town, and it's just empty, right? I that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. But let me know. I mean, hey, let me know what you guys think. If for season two, um, what kind of setting do you think they should have next? I mean, I don't know what else they're gonna have, but who knows? Maybe next time they're gonna put them in the snow. That's gonna be difficult, man. But I don't know. But I think they should have something like that. I think that'll be pretty cool if they could have something like that. Maybe some, a house or just a ghost town. You know what I'm saying? Just a burnt down ghost town, something like that. You know what I mean? Got a theater, a rundown theater over there. I don't know, but that'll be pretty cool. Coach James says in there. Damn, crazy man. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know when season 2 is gonna come out. I'm gonna look online and see if they. I mean, because they probably got one, in a couple years or next year, or whatever. They probably got one out already. So, in the news. So I'm gonna look and see what they got. But other than that, I think that's it, man. I think I covered mostly everything. And again, I want to give a big shout out to everyone individually that survived the 35-day challenge, being in South Africa on this Naked and Afraid apocalypse. So, but yeah. So anyway, that's it for me, man. I appreciate everybody joining us on Naked and Afraid Apocalypse on Rated R for reviews. Uh, that's it for me. If you haven't liked the video, like the video, and that's it for me. I'm out of here, man. Peace out.